Sons and daughters of Africa, imagine tens of thousands of our neighbors suddenly flooding into Europe, not from war-ravaged lands, but from Morocco, a country often praised for its economy. Why are young Moroccans braving deadly crossings in search of a better life through a broken border? This shocking migration wave has exposed a crisis at the heart of Africa's future. In late July 2026, an unprecedented surge of mostly young men and women poured into Ceuta, Spain's tiny Mediterranean enclave on African soil. In just 24 hours, an estimated 60,000 migrants crossed land and sea, overwhelming the border fences. Moroccan and Spanish forces used tear gas and water cannons to try to repel the crowds. The human toll was severe. At least 57 people died on the rocks and rapids of the strait. Even as many exhausted migrants turned back home the next day, the event has ignited fierce debate. Spain's Prime Minister condemned the violation of Spain's territorial sovereignty. But beyond European outrage lies a deeper question for us. Why would youth from a relatively stable country risk their lives like this? To answer that, we must start with history. Ceuta and nearby Melilla is not just another border crossing. It is a living relic of colonialism. First captured by Portugal in 1415, Ceuta remained in Iberian hands for centuries. In the 1580s, Portugal and Spain united under one crown, and by 1668, Ceuta was officially part of Spain. To Moroccans, Ceuta is on African soil, yet ruled by a European power. Spain regards it as an integral Spanish city, but Morocco claims sovereignty. In other words, Europe's only land border with Africa lies here. This raises the question, what did independence even mean if foreign boots still patrol African cities? As one Moroccan observer put it, Spain is both Europe and Africa on the map. Now, let's look at today's realities. Morocco is often touted as a model of economic growth in Africa. It ranks around third on the continent on many development indices. Yet this economic success hasn't translated into good jobs for many young people. Nearly 1 in 3 Moroccan youth, aged 15-24, is unemployed or out of school. University graduates and rural youth face even higher joblessness. A recent survey found that 28% of Moroccan youth have thought a lot about emigrating for a better future, up from 20% just a few years ago. In urban centers like Rabat and Casablanca, thousands of students and even unemployed doctors have been protesting under banners like Gen Z 212, demanding jobs and reforms. The frustration is clear. Despite education gains, the labor market leaves huge gaps. Morocco's economy remains squeezed by inequality and weak private sector growth. The government did create 42,000 jobs per year on average from 2017-2021, but not nearly enough to absorb the youth flood. Many young Moroccans find themselves working short-term gigs or migrating internally. This stagnant situation coexists with the rising cost of living in Morocco. For a restless generation glued to social media, images of wealthy Europe glint with hope. They see European industries, technology, and consumer comforts that are scarce in their own towns. So when thousands of young people coordinated via social networks to head to Ceuta, they hoped to catch a passing train into the EU. But once in Ceuta, they found no help. Spanish troops forced them back into the sea. As one young man lamented, there was no food inside Ceuta. What we're doing is neither good nor enjoyable. This is part of a larger African story. Across West, East, and Southern Africa, young men trek through deserts or cross oceans by boat seeking jobs abroad. They chase American and European dreams that our own leaders fail to offer at home. The Ceuta crisis reveals the same dynamic playing out in North Africa. When local economies fail young people, they will look elsewhere for opportunities. This is not a lawless mob phenomenon, but a symptom. Morocco's development has been uneven, as reflected in reports highlighting the growing frustration of disillusioned migrants. What, then, is the solution? Some in Europe call for more fences or naval patrols, but that won't solve the root problems. Instead, Africans must build Africa. After all, Africa possesses nearly 30% of the world's mineral reserves, more than 60% of the world's remaining arable land, about 60% of the world's population under the age of 25, and approximately 60% of the world's solar energy potential. No continent blessed with such extraordinary natural wealth, fertile land, abundant sunshine, and youthful energy should produce generations of young people who believe their future lies anywhere but but Africa. We need to invest in African industries, education, and infrastructure, not just keep people away from Europe. Schools must teach skills in science, engineering, agriculture, and trades that match real jobs. Young people crave practical skills that could run textile mills, workshops, and farms, not just more sermons. Our governments must harness our own resources. Morocco is rich in phosphates, solar potential, and manufacturing. Why should its factories be abroad? We should build factories, solar plants, and modernize agriculture in Africa so that African agendas don't rely on foreign powers. With nearly 1 in every 3 young people disconnected from education, employment, or vocational training, Africa cannot afford to waste its greatest resource. Our governments must invest in entrepreneurship, support small and medium-sized enterprises, and create jobs by ensuring that education equips young people with the practical skills today's economy demands. Youth unemployment can be fought by linking education to markets. Freedom and prosperity are entwined. Can a child learn robotics under a tree when there are no computer labs in the village? Can a society prosper on churches or mosques alone when other nations build weapons, space programs, and skyscrapers? As Nkrumah taught, true liberation is more than the absence of colonial banners. It is progress for all, homegrown and self-determined. Africa's minerals, labor, and talents should empower our schools and hospitals, not foreign vaults. This crisis should awaken us. If Morocco's relatively strong economy can't keep its youth from dreaming abroad, what hope is there for poorer countries? The answer is not to lock up the ocean or the borders, but to transform Africa itself. We must demand leaders who convert Ceuta's corridor into a bridge for trade and knowledge, not just migration. Our task is to light our own factories, not watch others sell our lamps. Brothers and sisters, the choice is ours. We can let fear and dependency rule, or we can rise together, building a continent where the African dream is worth staying for. Thank you for listening to Broadcasting from Conakry. If this message has inspired you, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with others, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Your voice is important in shaping the future of Africa.